Hey guys, welcome to a very special video, our first event video. That's right, Apex Legends has a Fight or Fright event going for Halloween right now, and the special game mode for the event is called Shadowfall. Today we're looking at my first game of Shadowfall, so don't expect wonders on the gameplay. But while we watch, we're going to talk a bit about the game mode and give you guys some tips and tricks that would have been really useful for me if I'd have had them before my first game, or even at any point before I just had to figure them out for myself. So, the basic rules of Shadowfall. 1. You're solo. 2. You and 35 other players drop in just like any other game, but solo. And then you try to kill one another just like in the solos mode that we had not too long ago. But the map is all decked out for Halloween. It's really freaking cool looking. It's nighttime, and you've got Caustic's creepy voice in the background doing voiceover lines, saying some morbid stuff like he does. It's kind of his thing. 3. Not only are you trying to kill one another, but once you do kill someone or you die yourself, the dead are returned to the game as shadows. And once you're a shadow, you have a different play style, which we'll get into in a second. 4. The last living legends have to try and make their way across the map while killing or avoiding shadows, and board an evac ship that, once it lands, leaves after 30 seconds. And so once the legend count is 10, you all become friendly. You can't kill each other, and you're expected to work together. So timing is key, and this is number 5. You don't want to get to the evac site too early. You have to try and fight off the horde while you wait for the ship. Unless you're all grouped up and that's your thing, or you're just a super good player and that's your goal, is to just sit around and kill shadows at the LZ waiting for the ship. But you also don't want to wait too long to get to that LZ, because that ship will leave without you, and if you're not on it, despite having survived until the end as a living legend, you will still lose the game. So, a couple notes about the map. This is old school Kings Canyon, which is awesome. There's no Octane's Gauntlet, there's no Sing Labs, there are no jump towers. Yeah, you heard me. No balloon rides, kids. So, you're hoofing it all the way across the map wherever you need to go. I can't tell you the number of times I have lived until the end of the game as a living legend and still gotten that shaming, disheartening banner at the end of the game that says, "You lose," because I didn't make it to the evac ship in time to get on board. So, on that note, let's talk a little bit about gameplay as a shadow. You can't use any abilities, so after you died, whatever legend you're playing basically doesn't matter. You can't pick anything up or open doors. You can melee them and break them open, though. You can use a zipline, so that's something. You're fast, like World War Z zombie fast. And speaking of World War Z zombies, you can climb straight up anything. Well, pretty much anything. Straight up the side of a building, straight up poles, antennae, the rocks and cliffs. It's insane, and you do it super freaking fast. You've got to try this if you haven't discovered that yet. All you got to do is the same thing you do to mantle anything else in the game. You just hold your X button and you just climb it. It's awesome. Your one and only goal as a shadow is to stop the legends from boarding the evac ship. You get indicators on the map when you respawn and drop back in. Oh, did I not mention that you respawn? Cool, right? You don't have to be respawned. You just respawn. It's auto. It's awesome. It makes the game pace seem faster. It makes it way less frustrating when you die. It is just awesome. I can't stress that enough. Anyway, when you're flying back to ground after you leave the dropship, you can see indicators telling you where legends recently died, where shadows recently died, and where the person who killed you is, so you can get retribution, if you dare. So, those icons. The white skulls with wings are markers to show a legend that's died there. The red skulls mark where a shadow recently died, and the spiral triangle marks the player who killed you if they were a legend. If they were a shadow, well, you're SOL, because you can't go back and kill a shadow as a shadow. The information on your screen is fairly self-explanatory, but you may want to note that the upper right corner is the good stuff. It shows you how many legends are alive, how many are shadows, and how many kills you have. The last thing to know about being a shadow, you have no armor, and you have about 30 hit points. So you don't want to get shot or punched if you can avoid it, but you also pack a mean punch yourself. If a legend has no armor or white armor, you can kill him in one hit. If they have armor that's better than basic, it takes 2 hits. So surprise and mobility are your friend as a shadow. Something I've noticed as the game gets closer to the ending, that is, the closer the evac ship is to arriving or leaving after it's arrived, the farther away from that zone you will respawn and drop in as a shadow, so it will take you longer to get back to the evac ship's LZ if you die and have to respawn. So keep that in mind. Alright, now that we talked about gameplay as a shadow, let's talk about gameplay as a legend. Remember how I said once you've died you can't use any abilities, so it really doesn't matter which legend you were playing? Well, it does matter when you're a living legend. I definitely have some recommendations for playing certain legends to make it through to the end of this game. Let's start off with number 1, and these are not in ranked order, they're just in whatever order I thought of them when I was making my notes for this video. So, take that as a grain of salt. Number 1 is Wraith. For the Void Walk, obviously. Walking in the Void can get you past the Horde of Shadows and into the ship at the end. It can save your life. Shadows are landing on your face in droves while you're running for the LZ near the end of the game. And of course it can help you against the living legends in the first part of the game too. That Void Walk is very crucial as Wraith. Number 2, Pathfinder, for the mobility. Like Wraith, Pathfinder affords you a lot of mobility. I'd say the most of any legend, really. But he is never invulnerable, so unlike Wraith, you don't get that bonus. He can get you to high ground, but that's not necessarily safe. Remember what I said about climbing as a shadow? Yeah. But he can grapple or zipline you to the LZ of the evac ship once it lands, so he has been a super popular choice. Number 3, Octane. 'Cause he's fast. Duh. I actually don't like using him because his stim compromises his health. And I'm not kidding when I say shadows land on your head in droves at a certain point in the game. When they start to respawn, and there are a lot of them, and they see that you've killed a shadow, remember those icons we talked about they're seeing as they drop in? They steer right for you, and when a shadow dropping in sees more than 2 red skulls pop up in the same area, there's something in them that just says, oh, it's on now. And they just can't resist landing right on top of that bastard who just killed 6 shadows, so they can prove that they're going to be the one to take him out. So, Octane and his stim use compromising his health, it makes it a not good combo in my mind. But I have used him in a few games, and he is effective for the mobility. Now, like me, you might think Caustic wouldn't be a good choice, because you're saying, what? That slow bastard? Yeah, I know. But here's the thing I didn't think of until I saw it in-game happening right before my shadowy eyes. Caustic can hold a building near the LZ for a long time, or at least through a lot of shadows dying, because his traps and ultimate release Nox gas, and Nox gas kills shadows. The best Caustic win I've seen so far in Shadowfall was a brilliant guy who held down a building right next to the evac LZ, and then when the ship landed, he ran out, threw his ult grenade down on the Horde, and casually sauntered onto the ship. Okay, he still ran his big ass off, but he could have sauntered because his gas was killing the Horde and clearing him a path to get to the ship. Freaking genius. Next, Mirage. Like Wraith, he's a good stealth choice for getting past the Horde and aboard the evac ship. You just drop your ult near the LZ, and as you're invisible, you just breeze right past the shadowy mob. My buddy Bach2099, you've seen him in my other videos, he got his first few wins as a legend that way. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Don't forget to drop a like and hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other tips and tricks to share with the rest of us. Good game, and happy Halloween, everybody.